Okay, and number 11. What is the amplitude, phase shift, period, and vertical shift of the function? So I talked to Mrs. Garcia about this because there was no correct answer. So she fixed it, but when I printed this out, she hadn't fixed it yet. So the issue comes with that -4 is going to be the vertical shift. So it should be down 4. And as you can see, none of these say down 4. So this version is still not okay, but let's go through and talk about it. So the amplitude would be a 5. So A is good, C is good. So it's not B and it's not D. All right. There is a phase shift, pi over 3 to the right. So pi over 3 to the right. A is good, C is not good. So just based on those two, it's going to have to be A. Period would be 2 pi divided by 2. So that's right. And then this one should say a vertical shift. It should say down 4, but that 2 should have been a -4. So I think the correct answer is supposed to be A, even though there was a typo on that one. But she fixed it. You just may not see it yet. Number 12, find the arctangent. So arctangent means the inverse. Where is tangent square root of 3 over 3? This is not a calculator question. This is supposed to be, you should know your unit circle question. So tangent, remember, is sine over cosine, or y over x. So I am going to look in that first quadrant because all these answer choices are in the first quadrant. So common sense is it's got to be something with the square root of 3 in it. So that has to be at pi over 6 or pi over 3. Those are the only two that make any sense. Pi over 2, that's going to be a 0 and a 1. Pi over 4 is going to be the square root of 2 over 2's. So it's got to be B or D. So just pick one. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to pick pi over 6. The coordinates there are square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. When I find sine over cosine, I would do 1/2 over square root of 3 over 2. I would multiply by the reciprocal. Whoops, I did too many square roots there. I don't know what I'm thinking. 2's cancel, and we would have 1 over the square root of 3. Well, 1 over the square root of 3 is not the same thing as square root of 3. This would rationalize and give square root of 3 over 3. So it's not pi over 6. It has to be pi over 3. Has to be. Okay, on the back side. Number 13. This is also a inverse question. So arc secant, -2 square root of 3 over 3. For me, I don't like looking at the reciprocals. I would look at the inverse of cosine instead. If I'm going to look at the inverse of cosine, I'm going to flip this thing over. -3 over 2 square root of 3. You could rationalize that. So multiply top and bottom by square root of 3. So that's going to be inverse cosine, negative. Now square root of 3 times square root of 3 on the bottom is going to be a 3. It's going to cancel with this 3, and we're going to be left with square root of 3 over 2. So where on our unit circle is cosine negative? Now cosine is the x value, so that's got to be on this side of the circle. So it happens in these two places. So that is at 5 pi over 6 or 7 pi over 6. So the only answer that they give us that would work would be D. This all comes down to, do you know your circle? All right, inverse sine. Where is sine -1/2? Sine is the y value. So the two choices are down here. And because that's where sine is a -1/2. So we could go all the way around to here, which would be 7 pi over 6. We could come all the way around to here, which is either 11 pi over 6 or -pi over 6. And the answer choice that is available to us that works is D. All right, number 15. They want us to find the exact value of sine of 2 theta, so we need to remember there's a formula for that. It's 2 sine theta cosine theta. They give us cosine is 4/5, but what we need is the sine there. So We're going to set up a reference triangle. It says between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. So that means we are in the fourth quadrant down here. Cosine, here's the angle. Cosine is 4 over 5, so that's adjacent over hypotenuse. We need to do the Pythagorean theorem to find the y value. So Pythagorean theorem would be 4 squared plus b squared equals c squared. I know from doing these a lot that that's going to end up being a -3 going down. Trust me, or do it yourself. So the sine of that angle is -3 over 5. Put that 2 over a 1. So we end up with 2 times -3 is -6 times 4 is -24 over 25. So the answer is D. Number 16, we're going to solve square root of 3 secant of x minus 2 equals 0. We're going to get secant of x by itself. So we're going to add the 2 over, and we're going to divide by that square root of 3. Again, I don't like doing secants or cosecants or cotangents, so I'm going to switch to the reciprocal, which is cosine. I'm going to flip that over. Now, where on our circle is the x value? Square root of 3 over 2. Whoops, it's not here. It's either here or here. So pi over 6 or 11 pi over 6, because it's positive. So the correct answer is D also. That's it. That's the review. A lot of trig, which was the bulk of this semester. How did you do?